Any racer in South Florida knows this track. It's a circuit known for many for intense racing action, various different types of cars, and various different types of series, including the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing. Tonight, the top drivers of the Bootleg Racing League are all set to tackle the new Smyrna Speedway as they try and come away with the checkered flag in the 8th round of the 2020 Season 3 campaign here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the virtual New Smyrna Speedway in Samoa, Florida, for the 8th round of 2020 Season 3 of the Bootleg Racing League Grand National Series. I'm Justin Prince, alongside the booth tonight is Devin Henry. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Ambrose, and using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. As the sun starts to set for this race tonight, let's take a look at your GSRC lap guide for the best way around this track.
Welcome to New Smyrna. Located just a few miles down the road on I-95 to its more celebrated neighbor, the Daytona International Speedway, New Smyrna is a hotbed of short track activity. During Daytona Speed Weeks, New Smyrna is the place to be, with races every night during Speed Weeks that bring out some of the biggest names in all of auto racing. New Smyrna is a fixture of the oval career path, so chances are you've had several races here. Whether it be a late model, the wheel-in modified, the street stock, the list is endless. Famous NASCAR drivers started their career here, and the track has proven to be an increasingly popular test venue among NASCAR's teams. 20 degrees of banking in the corner awaits our drivers today, with 7 degrees on the front stretch. High banks, high speed, high excitement is the name of the game here at New Smyrna. Having to put together a lap here is extremely tricky, as you have to be on top of your game, not hit the wall, and manage that transition from the corners to the straightaways. Adding to the challenge of all of that, New Smyrna is a very narrow track. Pinpoint precision is an absolute must. All in all, it's widely agreed that New Smyrna is a legendary Florida short track, and you're going to see why today. Big time action, short tempers, and a shorter track. New Smyrna has it all. Enjoy today's broadcast.
That was look at your GSRC lap guide for New Smyrna Speedway. Let's bring my broadcast partner, Devin Henry, as we get ready to go racing at a track that has been known for its racing in this community. When you talk to people and executives from even Daytona International Speedway, they know one thing's for sure. If you are in racing at all, you know about this track.
And it is not uncommon to see guys end up at Daytona, and they start here at New Smyrna, a gorgeous oval here down in Florida, just under half a mile long, and quite a bit of good bankings in the corners at about 23 degrees. And of course, racing at night, the temperatures come down just a little bit, but still plenty of drivers having issues getting a little greedy on corner exit. And this is a track that, with the banking, it does such a good job at nipping you in the butt if you just have a little bit too much throttle on corner exit. One of those tracks that you just really got to be leery about. Otherwise, it just likes to eat you up.
Indeed, this could be a tricky one tonight. A track, mind you, that is known for drivers testing here, since testing's been banned in real life for NASCAR Sanctioned Series. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Casey Kane, Kyle Busch, Greg Biffle, many others have tested here, as well as competed here in various series. Before we look at the point standings, let's remind you this series is presented by The Cruise Shop. They're a team of highly experienced travel agents that have a huge passion for travel. Cruise Shop specializes in cruises, all-inclusive resorts, escorted tours, Disney, family travel, groups, honeymoons, weddings as well. Love the opportunity to help you plan your next dream vacation. Call them today at 260-755-6125. And as the season starts to wind down towards the end of the summer months into fall, J.R. Shepherd currently holds on to the points lead without drops factored in. There are 2 drop weeks at the end of the campaign. However, he's won 6 of the 7 races. Do the math, he's in a good spot. Either way, Donnie Moore is 42 points back in second, with Justin Morton in third. Joseph Sagawa is in fourth. Austin Belke is 112 points back in P number 5, entering tonight's race. And speaking of said race, for those watching for the first time tonight, Devin, let's take a look at your race details.
This is one of my favorite series for a number of really fun rules. First of all, of course, a 100-lap race, but not allowed to change those tires. Being able to control and manage that car and manage those tires through the 100 laps is vital in having any car left when the checkered flag flies. Another thing, though, is how we start the race. The grid inverts the top 8 from the previous finishing order to set your starting lineup, so the fast guys always have to come from the back. Race number 8 of this 11-race championship series. And of course, the all-important only one fast repair tonight that you get to use up.
Going to be very crucial tonight to keep that in the bank, especially with some of the incidents that have happened in some of the earlier races, street stock and escorted modified events. I'd like to ask, are you interested in advertising with GSRC? Our channel's 1 million monthly global impressions are a great way to get your branding seen by a diverse audience. I'll link in the description to learn more about the Global SimRacing Channel. And as practice continues on for the next 8.5 minutes or so, track conditions are in pristine spots. 89 degrees Fahrenheit the track, 87 the air temp. Mostly cloudy skies, very windy, however, to the southeast for today's action, with speeds ranging from the 18 flats to 18 fives on the pylon. In our words, it's looking like it's a fairly balmy one as you look at that 60% humidity on the track. Devin, your thoughts on how this race could play out tonight?
Well, as we sit on board right now, you see the close quarters racing right now. Obviously, J.R. Shepherd is going to find a way to make his way up towards the front of the field. And a lot of guys aren't going to have this view being so close to the rear bumper of the 98 machine, although fourth right now overall in practice times. Saving up those tires, as always, extremely important. But being aggressive towards the start of these runs, I usually find to be pretty helpful with the amount of banking that you have. Maybe being able to hit that gas a little bit harder early on in a run, maybe just a little bit more aggression at the start of a stint might help you out.
Curious to see how everything plays out, absolutely. But with the invert, there's one man who's going to start up towards the front. Currently 10th on the board is Joe Segala. Joseph Segala looking to try and continue the momentum entering tonight. He's standing by right now as he's still rumbling around the racetrack. We'll see if we can get a word with Joe Segala. Joe, no, you're still rumbling around the racetrack. Do you have a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Joe, first things first, how are you feeling about how this season has played out so far for you in the 81?
It's been an awesome season so far. Best one I've had with Bootleg.
Why do you feel that is? What have you worked on to have that best season?
I gotta give some shout outs here because on the dirt side of things, John Hine, he's been helping me a lot on the dirt side, and that's transitioned into better racing, or better driving, I should say, on on the asphalt side here. And also I've gotten great advice and great coaching from Bobby Rafferty and J.R. Shepherd. You know, you can't ask for better guys to help you out with your driving.
A lot of pressure tonight. You'll be starting at the front of the field this evening. How are you feeling about tonight's race?
I'm feeling pretty good about tonight. I'm going to try and lead as much as I can up front. I know I'm going to get past eventually, but we'll see how long I can hold it up there.
How do you feel this race is going to play out overall tonight, in your opinion, based on your experience then?
I'm hoping to, like I said, to lead the first few laps. I know once JR gets up there, and with James Lowe being here tonight, he'll get up there. Bobby will get up there. I just want to come out with another top 8 finish. I've had 5 top 8 finishes in a row, and I want to keep that streak going.
Anything else you'd like to add before we let you get back to the track for the final minutes of practice?
No, that'll be it. Do want to give a shout out to my team SimCrow. They've also helped me improve my driving style as well, so I gotta give a big thanks to them.
Good luck tonight. We'll see how you do on the racetrack.
Thank you.
It's Joe Segala. He's in P12 on the board in practice at the moment, and as mentioned, the invert will start up at the front of the field. It could be difficult, mind you, Devin, to finish inside the top 8 in those invert positions 5 races in a row like he did, especially with some of the attrition rates from about 5th on back we've seen this season.
Yeah, and we have seen a lot of drivers have issues who either start up front or are running well up front, and it ends up putting them outside of the invert. So instead of starting top 8, sometimes top 5, you end up having to start wherever you finished beyond P8. And when you have to start outside the top 10, you have to be extremely talented to run through the field, not ruin your tires. You can gain as many positions as you want at the start of the race, but you'll lose almost all of those as the race goes on if you don't take care of your tires. And being able to be in that invert and start up in the top 8 helps you manage those tires because you're not going through so many battles on the track.
One of the drivers you're looking at on screen is Justin Morton, 5th in practice at the moment. His fastest time at 18.120. And we were talking a bit about Justin Morton. You're expecting him to do very well tonight. Didn't have a strong of a run at Martinsville compared to past experience, spitting into the inside wall that time down the back straightaway. But how do you feel overall about Morton and his chances tonight?
Well, first of all, that was just an absolute gorgeous back into that spot. I mean, I don't know how thick a spot that was, but that was drop dead gorgeous. That was a perfect back in there. But anyway, racing-wise, yeah, he's one of the best in the series, and it doesn't matter if it's the Grand National Series, the SK Modified Series, the Dirt Street Stocks. He's a very talented driver. In the past few weeks, it hasn't been great. He's one of only 4 winners ever in this Grand National Series, but I expect him to be up in the front every single race because that is what he has shown that he can do. And there's been a couple races this season where he just hasn't been there, but there are some tracks that just suit him right. And when he can start up front, he can race with the best of them, including J.R. Shepherd.
Also showing that experience once again, someone again known for more of his dirt racing experience outside of the BRL, but has been having strong performances lately. Bobby Rafferty, he won a straight stock race at Martinsville last week, won the SK Modified race tonight by out-strategizing J.R. Shepherd and was better on the long run. Reeled it in for about a second, got a caution to cool down the tires, made a pass on the inside line with under 5 laps to go. Also has a brand new sponsor on the hood in Vision Wheel this evening. A lot of momentum tonight for Bobby Rafferty in this series.
And he already got to plug that new sponsor last night. I think he has been on top of the world since a few weeks ago. He has won 3 straight races in the Dirt Street Stock Series that we broadcast here on GSRC every Friday night. And of course, that win at Southern National just 2 weeks ago, becoming the 4th different winner in BRL Grand National history. I mean, even last night I was able to talk to him after his win at Lima Lane in the Dirt Street Stock Series, and he said, well, just like last week and the week before, I feel like someone needs to pinch me. I can't believe I won this race. I mean, he's beating Black Stripes here in the Dirt Street Stock Series and then coming over to the Grand National Series, and beating J.R. Shepherd is a feat in itself. He has been on an absolute tear, and yeah, I think that he's just really, really excited to try to get back into victory lane here.
Some of the drivers looking for a bounce back, though, are drivers like you see on screen. Todd Liston, a couple others had some rough races in the past couple rounds, as well as the SK Modified race this evening. For those drivers, how difficult do you think it's going to be to try and bounce back and gain momentum and confidence back with only a few races to go in the season?
Well, it's so late in the season. We're in round number 8, so there's only 3 more rounds to go after tonight. And you look at how this group schedules their races. It's almost the same every single season. So it becomes a trend. It becomes kind of just another rotation as we're now in season 3 of the series. And so I feel like as a driver, you know, when you come to a certain track, say the second time, oh, well, you know, I'm in that slump part of the season, or I'm coming to a really good part of the season. And that sticks in your mind how you performed in past seasons at a certain point in the year. And so when it comes to a guy like Todd Liston, he's typically trying to be in that invert position, but 11th in points. Not everything has been going well for him. And then you look at guys like Donnie Moore, right now 2nd in the points. No wins to his name in this series, but is constantly consistent, even though he isn't battling for wins. This is the part of the season where you have to shake off any sort of maybe stigma you have about where you are at certain tracks or where you are at certain points in the season, and be able just to lock it down, take a few steps, and say, okay, new season in my mind, even though there's only a few races left, and it's time to try to make a difference in my usual rotation.
Great point there, Devin. But these drivers just about done their practice session. J.R. Shepherd tops the board. Live time and end scoring is available for tonight's event at GSRC.tv to keep up with your favorite drivers and teams throughout tonight's action here for the Bootleg Racing League and its Grand National Series. With that, the drivers have now wrapped up their session. Let's take a look at how they will start tonight with this evening's inversion. As mentioned at the top of the broadcast and during the interview, Joe Segala starting on the pole tonight with the invert. Lowell Jewell will start on the outside front row. Michael Redding, who won the SK Modified race at Martinsville last week, will start in P3. Steven Spies in P number 3. Speeds rather. Bobby Rafferty in P number 5. Donnie Moore in P6. Justin Morton, J.R. Shepard round out the top 8. Full top 8 inversion for tonight with attendance. Bruce Pearson starts in 9th, and Austin Belkey rounds out your top 10, Devin.
James Lowe will have to come from outside the top 10 to try to win tonight. He starts 11th in the number 99 machine. Kurt Smith in the 6th starts in 12th. Jeffrey Harden in 13th. Ruben Altis starts outside row number 7 in 14th. Todd Liston will start in 15th, and rounding out your 16-car field here at New Smyrna Speedway is the principal, Chris Wolfson.
That's a look at your running order. 16 drivers in the field tonight. And the distance 100 laps around this circuit. 0.48 miles the exact distance. It's open since 1967. Up to 23 degrees of banking in the corners. Last repaved in 2007. Before we get ready for tonight's race, your keys to victory if you want to take the checker flag here at this track.
Don't get stuck fighting for the same real estate. This is a wide track. Yeah, the outside doesn't work all the time, but don't burn up your tires fighting for just one position. Move around the track just a little bit. And as I say at almost every single track, don't be greedy on corner exit. This track will make you pay. Have that patience, and those tires might just last you until lap 100.
iRacing pace car drops off the racetrack. Joe Segal in control of the field. Green flag is out. We're underway. And a lockdown start for Segal off into turn 1. However, Redding already trying to attack for second early.
Lowell Jewell stuck on the outside in the black and white number 19. Able to fight off Michael Redding for a little bit. Pushes up in the corner, though. Redding takes over P2, and now Bobby Rafferty looks to go hunting for position number 3.
J.R. Shepard's also found a hole on the bottom side. Top 4 single filed out. Great run for Redding, though, off the corner. He wants to take the race lead. Dives to the inside of the 81. Move the number 30 to the point for now. Just can't get clear quite yet. Might be able to, however, in turn 1 and 2. As still, Segala holding firm on the high side.
And how about that speed? What did I say earlier? Trying to attack and be more aggressive here towards the beginning of a run, trying to make that pay off. If you're the leader, you set the pace for the race. And now Michael Redding, your leader, cleared Joe Segala. Lowell Jewell trying to attack and keep Joe Segala stuck in that outside lane.
And Segala goes up the racetrack, technical issues, and out of the groove on top of things. So Segala drops back and starts to keep his way out of traffic, already outside the top 8 as a result. But it's Redding, Jewell, Rafferty, Morton, Spies, your top 5 for the time being. Fastest lap of the race just set an 18.194 so far.
On board here with Lowell Jewell, you look back to see Bobby Rafferty, and you start to see that Cruise Shop logo on the number 98 machine. J.R. Shepard moving into the top 5 now on the inside of Steven Spies, already starting to make his way through the field.
And the Cruise Shop Ford is on a move. And the interesting thing, though, was J.R. Shepard fell off in the second half of the SK Modified race, where Rafferty reeled him in a tenth or two a lap until he got up to his Nerf ball. How do you feel if you were these two drivers now trying to adapt to things in the Grand National Series car again to make sure if you're Shepard, you don't let Rafferty reel you back in, or if you're Rafferty, you try and keep Shepard in behind you to try and make it easier for the second half of the race if you have the pace?
And that's the funny part about the Bootleg Racing League. These guys will run 3 straight races: Street Stock, SK Modified, Grand National, ARCA cars. And even though those machines are so different from one another, the racing almost ends up the same. And some guys will learn certain things from the previous races and be able to put that into the Grand National car and try to make up room. Justin Morton here riding on board in 4th position. Being able to keep guys behind you is important, because obviously when you get stuck on the outside, it is tough to be able to fight off someone on the inside.
Now, one thing with the modifieds Rafferty was using, he was trying to use the apron in 3 and 4 to help the car rotate. Obviously, that doesn't work the same way, though, Devin, with the ARCA Menards cars, where you clip the apron, there's a chance you may get a bit too loose with the rotation by using the flat part of the track.
Yeah, these cars are a little bit more sketchy, and you've already seen Justin Morton, as you were riding on board, have to whip that steering wheel to the right more than once on corner exit. And that's one of those things that you just have to know. As Rafferty even is a little bit loose off of 2 there, you have to know how the cars control themselves at specific tracks like that. SK Modified great way to rotate the car. Marking machine, great way to spin out.
Absolutely. Already past 10 laps in, coming to 88 laps to go this upcoming time by. The leader still is Michael Redding by 3/4 of a second in front of the boss man, Lowell Jewell. But J.R. Shepard, he wants to move inside the top 4 to the inside of Justin Morton. Just behind this, 98 machine is starting to pounce for that track position.
And Morton gets very far out of the groove. Speeds won't be able to attack though. Shepard moving into 4th and still has his eyes set on Michael Redding. As long as you can see that car out front, you still have hope to get on up there with or without a caution.
And he's seen as well on screen how much of a gap has already grown just by that little pass by Shepard to get past Morton. And Morton looked like almost he was trying to let him go. But you go side by side too long here, Devin. Yes, he can defend on the top side if you want to fight it, but that loses you about 2-3 tenths a lap and about 5 car lengths on the track as we take a look from Rafferty.
And even worse than that, it can really kill your tires. Justin Morton really loose off of turn 2 behind these guys right here. Fighting someone off, whether you're on the outside or the inside, it kills your tires to a certain extent. And if you're battling for too long, that will hurt you later in the race. We have seen J.R. Shepard even have issues coming through the field and not being able to close things out at the end of the race. Right now, closing in quickly on Bobby Rafferty, but what you have to do in that 7 car is look ahead at that 19 and try to make a move there.
As everything singles files out in this group. Remember, the last time this series came to this track back in Season 2, it was Donnie Moore who took the victory with 59 laps led. He's currently back in P7 on the racetrack in the second grouping with Austin Belke. Ruben Altes also in that group on the racetrack at the moment. That's about a couple seconds behind the race leaders.
And the top 5 are really starting to close in on one another. Rafferty, great exit off of turn number 2 as you look a little bit further back in the pack here. These drivers here still trying to vie for position. Meanwhile, up front, a change here for second. Rafferty to the inside of Jewell, and now Shepard comes to play as well.
Absolutely. So far in the action, check that on that point. Shepard 31 laps led in the race, rather. Apologies for that. That was in reference to the SK Modified race, apparently. But still, Donnie Moore was also fairly decent in this race. And this season of no. Rafferty, meanwhile, continues to try and reel in the race leader. Shepard is now up to 3rd. 4th is now Morton. Jewell is now dropping back and letting by other drivers, including Spees, who's having his best race of the season so far for Vigorous Racing in P6.
Dahl Spees come out for the first time in the Grand National Series at Martinsville last week. A regular dirt guy. Been doing extremely well in the Dirt Street Stock Series that we have here on GSRC. Great to see him out here. Great to see him running with the asphalt guys. And also performing very well. Was caught up in a late race incident that took out a lot of the field at Martinsville. Otherwise, would have had a great finish there as well. He's been doing great here on pavement.
Yeah, very consistent, especially on the mid-run we've seen so far from him. Just trying to keep the car clean as within range to try and come away with the top 5 for the time being. Already approaching 1/4 of a way through the race, and by the way, Michael Redding is now running away a little bit with this lead. And this is one of the best performances in the Grand National Series we've seen from Redding, while Spees, he looks to try and clear himself for P5. Joel gives him the spot. The boss man gives him the space, moves Spees up, back into P5.
And Spees was the second fastest car on track last time around, only behind J.R. Shepard. That is always great company to be in. But unfortunately, when it comes to Bobby Rafferty, not as great company when that 98 pulls up to your rear bumper.
Especially when it's by a few 100ths per lap at the minimum. That does add up to a few tenths, which adds up to a few seconds. Think about the perfection of a race. Shepard tries to dive in the corner. Down the back straightaway, will he try and send it? No. Rafferty able to defend hard to the bottom side, really protecting that yellow line for Shepard.
Rafferty knows if you let the 98 go, you might never pass him again. Being a little bit defensive here early on, 25 laps into this race, but you don't want to just give him the position because otherwise you might not see that cruise shot machine again.
Absolutely, and now, just all of a sudden, like a light switch, Redding was gaining about a 1/10 a lap on these cars. He's now losing a 1/10 a lap. Make it nearly 2 tenths last time by. So there's a chance Shepard can try and fall behind the car you're on board with to get up to P2 if he times it up right. Here comes the pass. Rafferty with a good run, not able to send it quite yet, but it's within reach to try and in 3 and 4.
Looking to make a move on the outside. He has to be careful. Shepard got a little greedy on corner exit and got loose. Now Rafferty trying to make the move happen on the outside lane here on Michael Redding for the lead.
And nearly got doored into the wall. Bit of space off that corner exit compared to the exit of turn 2 and some other tracks. Able to keep the car clean for now, and I'm surprised he's trying this on the top line. I think he can try and send it on the bottom side and make it stick.
I don't think he's even attempted to try to go on the bottom side. This is so dangerous. J.R. Shepard could take both of them in one foul swoop, but instead Rafferty takes the lead, leads the lap, and might have a chance to clear Michael Redding here off of turn 2.
There's the squeeze, and Rafferty is clear. Bobby Rafferty to lead, and Shepard makes contact. Shepard in the wall. Redding holds on to it as the caution flag is out.
That was a little quick there. Both drivers did a phenomenal job saving those cars. A little bit quick on the caution button there, but that could have been detrimental to the entire field if Redding doesn't do a spectacular job saving that machine. All it took right there was just one little bit of touch on the right rear quarter panel. You don't even see it in that replay, but J.R. Shepard just was barely touching Redding there, and it completely disrupted the car going into turn 3.
And in turn, Shepard now cycled back to P3. That was a nerve-wracking moment, I think, for much of the field. Shepard just minor damage on the door, so no fast repair used. But here's the bright side. Shepard gets to start on the bottom side on the racetrack on the restart coming up here.
But Justin, I was almost shocked. Usually at a short track, the guy passes on the inside, and then the guy behind you follows on the inside. Yep. Rafferty makes the pass on the outside, and Shepard wanted to follow him on the outside. You don't do that at a short track. I was really surprised that Shepard thought, well, you know what? If Bobby could do it, I'm going to try it too.
I mean, I've seen it work at times at this track, but it's not common because you can defend on the top. You don't usually see someone be able to stick it on the top for the pass.
Yeah, and I almost think that Redding might have been a little bit confused. I don't think that he knew that Shepard was going to commit to the top there, and that's why there wasn't a lot of room. Because that's not what you do on a short track, is pass someone on the outside. Great move by Rafferty, and Shepard tried to follow through there. Just a little bit of a unique situation there.
It's a chance to cool back down the tires on the bright side. 67 laps to go, as Redding still in second spot. Shepard in third, Morton in fourth, Spees in fifth. Jewel, Moore, Bulky currently in the inversion spots in the top 8. Maltese and Lowe round out your top 10. 1 to go in the pace car. You can see the air temp slowly starting to drop. The track temp still staying very high, and the winds continuing to gust right around this racetrack.
Yeah, these winds are picking up. And how about Ruben Altice up 5 spots from the start of this race, from 14th into the top 10.
I think it's not just the winds picking up at this point. The intensity level is starting to pick up a little bit more. In near full darkness, in sim time, approaching 9 p.m., Bobby Rafferty is on the gas. The number 7 leads them back into turn 1.
We will see if Redding learned anything from Rafferty to hold off J.R. Shepard for that second position. Shepard didn't get a phenomenal jump there, and so Redding will keep P2 to himself. Morton falls behind, and Spees rounds out your top 10 right now.
Trouble behind them. Jewel nearly got bumped and ran into other cars. I think he was able to save it, however, nearly turned Donnie Moore getting loose in the corner. For now, though, Rafferty still holds on to the lead. It's about a tenth quicker than the car behind in Redding. Shepard now wants to try and go to the high side. Can't make it stick on the 30.
And you can see how unique it is. Everyone really using different lines on the track. Redding is letting J.R. Shepard have that lane. He moved down to the bottom on the straightaway, said, go for it. I want to see you do this. Maybe he'll use it later in the race, but J.R. Shepard, a good run here, trying to make a pass for P2.
Good momentum off the straightaway once again. Shepard able to squeeze. Move J.R. Shepard up to second. Now it gets fun. Now it's curious to see how things go between Rafferty and Shepard. Morton wants to join the fun to the inside for third now.
It's about time I saw a pass on the inside, but Morton won't be able to make it stick and stay with Redding. Redding in the 30 car stays in P3, but I think Bobby Rafferty might have opened Pandora's box. When J.R. Shepard gets to the rear bumper of the 7 machine, where will he go? The top or the bottom?
Wait and see here with 61 laps to go this time by. Morton was not able to get by, however, the 30 machine. Redding, though, misses the corner. Here comes Morton. Downforce racing machine not able to take advantage. The run, in fact, loses a ton of time. Checking up for the 30 on corner exit.
Redding really high up in 1 and 2. This time Morton able to get door to door once again to the inside, battling for the 4th position here. Coming to 60 laps to go, Justin Morton trying to find a way onto the podium, looking for that 3rd position.
Yes, indeed. Looking like Redding's tires are starting to go off. Morton trying to get clear, losing a ton of time in this fight, mind you. Separation 1 second. Morton tries to show up the racetrack. Move Justin Morton up to 3rd. Redding's now getting freight trained by the rest of the field.
Even speeds quickly into 4th. Donnie Moore wants to spot in the top 5, and Redding just absolutely misses the corner. Have to wonder if he was not conserving his tires well enough while running up front early in the race.
Have to think so at this rate, as Redding dropping like a stone to P7 on the track. Speeds is now in 4th as a result. The damage has been done with that battle. 3rd is already 1.3 seconds back behind your top 2, Rafferty and Shepard. Currently playing a chess match at the front of the field, by the way. Going to be the question, though. Is Shepard going to be saving? Or is Rafferty trying to save and slow it down while hoping Shepard tries to push, thinking he's being slower?
And my question right now is actually for 3rd and Justin Morton. Do you push right now and try to catch these guys, or conserve your tires maybe and hope for a caution to be able to pounce on them for a late race caution potentially? We are not even halfway through this race. Justin Morton in 3rd position, a good spot to be on any given restart.
You can see on board, this is with Morton. Take a listen in. You can almost hear Devin with how tricky it is on the throttle on corner exit and how much wheel he's having to put to the right. That car's dancing off each of the corners.
And you can see just how drastically he's moving that steering wheel. Watch here coming out of turn number 4. Left, 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 and actually that time was better than most of them, but still jerks to the right there. That just tells you he's trying to get that car in alignment. He can feel those rear wheels trying to dance out under him.
He's been gaining a little bit of time, about a 10th or so has been gained back on the top 2 on this onboard, by the way. Rafferty still leads, coming to 52 laps to go, approaching halfway already. Lap times between Shepard and Rafferty are near dead even at the moment. Morton was about a 10th or so quicker last time by, trying to reel in these 2 and make it a 3-car fight.
Behind him, the Dirt Rat, Steven Spees in 4th place. A good showing for the points leader in the Dirt Street Stock Series. Donnie Moore, 2nd overall in the points here in the Grand National Series, still in the top 5, trying to collect some points to keep that runner-up position and maybe potentially be able to fight for a championship with these final closing races if something does happen to J.R. Shepard.
Remember, there are 2 drop weeks, however, and he's going to need to put in a ton of work and potentially get some big victories to put himself in that conversation, Devin.
Moore, the master plumber, trying to make himself a master driver, still has plenty of positions to make up if he wants to get into the top 3. Passing Spees and Morton, never a joke.
Not going to be easy, to say the very least, as he dances off the corner. Altice catching up to him. In fact, you see on the bottom side. And Moore nearly misses the corner, able to stick it, however, to hold on for the time being. A different line to pull away down the straightaway. And this battle for this position, about 4 seconds back of your race leader still on the racetrack.
Ruben Altice lost a little bit of time there, and you can see just about every driver on the track running a slightly different line from one another. Some guys on the yellow line, some guys a car width, even higher than that, and then arcing the corner and cutting it off in turn 4. Incredible. This is a fixed setup series. How many different drivers have different philosophies on a short track corner?
What's your philosophy like at this point, especially if you say, want to be a contender for the race lead like these 2 past the halfway point of a race?
Well, what I've seen the top 2 do a lot is arc the corner, so you start out wide and then you bring it in. That kind of gives you less steering input when you enter the corner. That keeps that right front alive a little bit longer, and then they'll arc it down a little bit, but not even to the yellow line. I mean, I guess it's a little cliche to say, do what the guys in front of you are doing, but obviously it works for a reason.
By the way, they started running away again from Morton as Morton started to heat up his tires a little too much, trying to keep up with the top two. May need a little bit of luck to close up to the gap as most of the field has calmed down for the time being. Closest train to drivers is 5th on Backman, 11th through 14th. 15th and 16th is also within 1 second. 11 seconds separates the top of the pylon to the bottom of the pylon on this racetrack at the moment. And Devin, at this point, what are your thoughts on how this race has progressed so far tonight, especially with it now having one of the longest green flag runs of the entire night here?
I go back to what I said about Justin Morton, who has completely checked out from the teams behind him almost. Do you try to fight your way up and catch these leaders, or do you wait for a caution, try to save those tires? And I think that goes for every driver, Justin Morton and beyond. Do you try to kind of save up some tires right now, or are you on the attack trying to gain positions? I think we're going to see another caution. Still 41 laps to go this time by, 42 laps to go actually. So plenty of time left in this race.
Keep in mind, in the last race as well at Martinsville, 2 drivers were given warnings. Michael Redding over aggressive driving for pushing and then turning their car on the restart. Kurt Smith for over aggressive driving into the corner too hot for wrecking others. So you can't just send it off into the corner, say in battles such as this, and then hope to get the position. If you make contact with others, you risk getting penalized.
Exactly. And in a tight battle like this, as the tires wear down, it becomes difficult to do that. It's not always intentional even sometimes. Right now, Donnie Moore trying to hold on to a top 5. Altice and Jeffrey Harden starting to make up room behind him. And you can see all 3 of them running completely different lines.
Keep in mind, the 11 and the 44 are your 2 biggest movers outside of Shepard in this race tonight. +8 for Altice, +6 for Harden on the racetrack. Shepard is also a +6 this evening. So they've been able to cut through the field, take advantage of the mistakes around them, and save their tires very well to be able to essentially be near each other to carve their way through the pack.
Looking on board behind Donnie Moore, the 11 dives in, gains on entry, loses on exit. The 44 car right on his rear bumper behind him. And even James Lowe trying to throw his name into the mix as well in the 99 behind these 2 cars.
Yeah, and James Lowe, he's missed several races, had a few rough rounds to say the very least for the 99. One of the other 4 winners in this series' history. Not been a great season for James Lowe, to say the very least, as Harden nearly snaps it, trying to go underneath Altice still. Altice blows the corner, move Harden up into P number 6.
Moving up just a little bit, those are those presents that you love to get. The former BMX racer back when he was a little kid, moving his way on up.
James Lowe, meanwhile, from Portsmouth, Virginia, the contractor tries to work his way back to the inside now to follow on through for P7. Bit of a squeeze once again for Altice. Different lines starting to play into a factor as Lowe nearly slides the back end tires. Clear though, off of turn 2, Altice gives him the space.
And you're so used to seeing that orange number 99 up towards the front. And you mentioned it, Justin, the past few weeks of this season, just really hasn't been up there competing in the top 5, and still tonight sitting in 7th. Still has a long way to go against some really top-notch drivers if he wants to be in the top 5 tonight, but at the very least in the invert.
Indeed, remember, Lowe 2nd in the points last season, with 2 victories on the campaign. Grand National Series this season, average finish of 7th, P9 in the standings, with several missed races in 2020 Season 3 on the iRacing calendar. 33 to go this time by. Battles are not over yet as Harden is now looking to charge to get inside the top 5 to make it a +8 on the race.
Donnie Moore in the SPCA and Stone River Outfitters machine trying to keep that top 5 position, but Harden here in the yellow number 44 making one of his best runs of the year.
Absolutely. Remember, his average finish has been 11th on the season. And we've talked about it where some drivers are better at other tracks, and with the extra banking here, it seems it fits Hardin's driving style in that 44 machine.
Well, it certainly looks that way, using a little bit higher line that cuts off turn 4 just a little bit there as we ride on board the top of the machine. This 44 car trying to get a top 5 here, and as you mentioned, with an average finish of 11th, usually not even in the invert, but if he was here next week, he would start no worse than 3rd.
Bit of a bobble right behind Moore, tried to wheel it to the bottom side, loses momentum, however. Here comes James Lowe, looking to fight for 7, not able to dive to the inside. Again, this grouping of cars on your screen is about 6.8 seconds behind your race lead, losing about a tenth or two a lap to Rafferty and Shepard on the track, as well as Morton.
And still a couple seconds behind 4th place Steven Spies. So these guys starting to lose sight of the leaders, and I won't say that's necessarily detrimental to drivers not being able to see Bobby Rafferty and J.R. Shepard, but when just the car in front of you starts to go away, it really kind of makes you think, man, what am I doing wrong? What can I do to catch up to that guy? He keeps leaving me, and it does not help when you got 2 cars filling up your mirror behind you. You just start to almost panic and go, what do I need to change right now to make myself better?
Hardin tries to change up his line, a big time miss of the corner, however, up the racetrack. And now James Lowe, once again, looking to try and dive once again. Just not been able to get the run quite yet, take advantage of a couple of those mistakes from the 44 machine. That time he nearly makes a mistake of his own, nearly runs the back end of Hardin as he had the back up on the apex off.
Right on that rear end, everyone has different braking points, different points to hit that throttle. And sometimes those issues do come to haunt a couple of drivers as people constantly try to change that up as well. Hardin just about on the apron, but making up room right now. This is still your battle for 5th, and still Donnie Moore able to hold these 2 off.
That time all the way to the apron, you see on the left side of your screen. Hardin now loses momentum. Here comes James Lowe to take away the spot. Hardin gives it to him.
A little bit too close to that apron there, a little loose on corner exit. Loses himself position number 6, and Lowe now moves into that spot. He will now try to set his sights on a top 5 position by passing Donnie Moore.
Yeah, and I was going to say, looking at some of the times even behind Donnie Moore, when they had about a couple car lengths distance, Donnie Moore has been losing some time, if not dead even the speeds. However, Lowe had a 19.6 after he made the pass. Hardin was also running 19.8 while trying to get by Donnie Moore, so there's a chance Lowe can steal a top 5 here if he has enough time.
And this time a 19.851, the fastest driver outside of a podium position that time. Actually, Altice was a little bit faster than that. Or no, excuse me, I'm getting myself all mixed up here. But looking at the inside here, might have enough. We'll see. That outside has prevailed a couple times tonight, though.
Lowe looking to move himself inside the top 5. Giving a bit of the squeeze again as Moore on the top line. Lots of space down the backstretch. Lowe slides the tires. Moore has to get off the gas as he pushes tight. Move James Lowe up into P5. A +6 now for him. Hardin now joins the fun. He's looking to take advantage again of this.
Moore stuck on the outside, really going high up the track. I feel like he would be able to use his typical line with someone on the inside, but just really far up the track. That's how he lost the spot to Lowe and might lose a spot here to Hardin.
Michael Redding, you've seen on the bottom of the racetrack, just pulled into the pit lane. Severe damage to his right front. He had dropped to as low as 14th after starting the pole tonight. But Hardin, he's looking to try and get himself up to 6th spot. Still side by side. Sends it hard, trying to force Morton to make another tight mistake. Up the track, another slide up the track for the 26th. Holds onto the corner panel though in a 1 and 2. Still gives the pinch. Finally, Hardin gets clear.
Moore just a little bit too high up the track, did not get the drive that he needed to keep up with Hardin. And now stuck behind him, losing 2 positions there. Meanwhile, James Lowe in the top 5, driving away from these 2 drivers. And Lowe, I don't know if it's just the graphics going on or what, but it looks like it's a different number on that car. Font at least looks more like a Thor Sport as opposed to the typical football jersey font he used to have on that 99 machine.
I've noticed it for the past couple weeks. He's also changed the design, if you've noticed, for this week on the hood to look almost more like a water bottle, put it that way, for his race team. So that Charger Marching through the field this evening for the +6 hard and also a +7 behind him. You see that paint scheme on the drone cam.
Fastest car last time by, and it was not very close. Bobby Rafferty gained 0.2 of a second on J.R. Shepard, really trying to make a gap there and hold on for his second career Grand National win. Made history earlier this year to become just the 4th different driver to win in what is now nearly 3 completed seasons of Bootleg Racing League Grand National Racing, already looking to make it number 2 and move up on that wins board.
And he has been faster than Shepard for about the past 10 laps. He's been a couple 100ths of a second quicker on the average the past 10, a 19.799 on that average, a 19.811 for Shepard. So he's been slowly building up this gap. But for Rafferty, this might be huge for him because he's been the more dominant car tonight compared to Shepard. Short run, long run, all out, to say the very least, it seems, tonight with 13 to go.
And if he does win this race, we will have to ask him if he is still pinching himself. 5 combined wins here on GSRC in the Bootleg Racing League if he is able to pull this off over the past just 3 weeks. So that would be a great win for him. Now looking a little bit further back in the field, this is for the 10th position. Segala trying to hold off Kurt Smith.
You see Segala with the better run that time on the high side. Kurt Smith quietly has been running to the back of the field tonight. His pace has been on par, mind you, with some of the cars in front of him. Just hasn't been able to capitalize for passes tonight and is at risk, potentially, depending on how this race flows with some of the fights, to go a lap down. They are reaching lap traffic right now. Bruce Pearson, Chris Wolfson, Michael Running are all laps down on the circuit.
Here you see Bobby Rafferty starting to catch up to those lappers. First one is Todd Liston in 13th. And with the racing group being a little bit wider, you might wonder, will guys move out of the way? Maybe, maybe not, because of how different all these drivers run their line. So just because someone moves out of the way doesn't mean you're out of the way of a driver's typical line. As Rafferty shoots to the bottom here. Listen gave up everything on that one, getting into the wall, make sure he wasn't in Bobby Rafferty's way.
Yeah, that's a little too high. I think he could go about another half a lane hot lower. Let's put it that way.
Oh, I know what that's like. I'm typically a lapper, and so I know what that's like. You just want to get out of the guy's way, and you're running a line that you've never ran before. Whoops, into the wall.
Remember, Liston has struggled at times in the long run. Meanwhile, speaking of drivers reeling drivers in on this run, as we expected, once Lowe got by some of the drivers like Donnie Moore, he's been blistering quick. He's been able to reel in speeds with under 10 laps to go for the fight for 4th.
Up on that rear bumper, Steve trying to hold on to that 4th position. Your current points leader in the Dirt Street Stock Series, been running well here on pavement, but Lowe, a multi-time winner in this series, looking to make the pass on the newbie.
Looking also for one of his best finishes this season. Remember, started off so strong, but had several incident-filled races that broke up the momentum for the 99 this campaign. Putting on the pressure a bit deeper on the brakes compared to Speeds, just again. Can't get the run on corner exit to set up the pass quite yet with 6 to go.
Lowe really digging in on corner entry. Whatever tires you have left, might as well use them up, right? Coming to 5 to go this time by. Has a little bit of a gap here on Harden. And now Austin Belkey's actually moved into the 7th position past Donnie Moore. Every spot, it's valuable trying to gain points.
Yes, indeed, Moore has dropped off his pace in this race. Here comes Lowe, though, trying to dive in the corner. Best run he's had down the back straightaway, still not able to get to the inside line yet of the 55. Here's a look on the fight on board. This is with Lowe, 4 laps to go. Close as he's been now down the front stretch as Speed still tries to defend.
Just peeking to that inside, getting right up on that apron, almost running identical lines now with Steven Speeds. Shows a little bit of that left front fender saying, hey, I want to get under you here, want to try to get around you. Speeds doing a good job, though, protecting his line and staying in that 4th spot.
Yeah, very low on the entry to try and make sure Lowe doesn't dive it in. Lowe is also a bit too close to try and ramp it off the corner. Once again, towards the back bumper. Traffic is ahead, and Bruce Pearson may be a factor. Here comes Lowe to the high side. 2 laps to go in the fight for P4. Lowe tries to make that line work. We've seen several times tonight for drivers like Rafferty. Gives a big squeeze. Speeds nearly doors him. Lowe now with the momentum down the back straightaways. The white flag's out.
And Hardin will look to follow him as well. Oh, looks like contact. Hardin gets into the back of Lowe, and around goes the 99 on the white flag. Absolutely heartbreaking.
And this is going to be tough for Rafferty to get around. He's able to pass by the wrecked car of Lowe. Checker flag waves. Bobby Rafferty wins his 2nd race of the season, this time in Florida.
And how about the dominating fashion as well? More than a 2-second victory. Easily the greatest win we have seen in this season by someone not named J.R. Shepherd.
A strong victory today at New Smyrna Speedway, to say the very least. +4 from the drop of the green flag. But a majority of the laps tonight, and was the quickest driver on the long run. What a performance for the Jim Beaver Esports driver. 2 for 3 on the night. As the fireworks bang across the track, we'll take a step aside. Post-race interviews and more coming up. You're watching the Global SimRacing Channel for Bootleg Racing League coverage from New Smyrna Speedway. Welcome back, everyone, to New Smyrna Speedway after an exciting race for the BRL Grand National Series, live on the Global SimRacing Channel. Today's coverage presented by The Crew Shop. Call them today at 260-755-6125. That, we'll see how things went down for the unofficial results tonight. Bobby Rafferty called his number 7 machine, came away with a checker flag by more than 2 seconds over J.R. Shepherd. Justin Morton rounded out the podium tonight with Spees, the dirt racer, in P4, one of his strongest finishes of the season. After a bump and run in the final lap and a spin coming towards his white flag, he rounds out your top 5 unofficially. Smoky in 6, Donnie Moore, Ruben Altis, Joe Sagawa, Kurt Smith round out your top 10.
Lowell Jewell ends up in 11th place tonight. Todd Liston in 12th. Bruce Pearson brings it home in 13th. Chris Wolfson in 14th. Absolute heartbreak for James Lowe. Drops from 5th to 15th on the final lap. And Michael Redding started 3rd, leads some laps, but not able to hold on. He has troubles and rounds out your 16-car field here at New Smyrna Speedway.
Bobby Rafferty, 2 for 3 on the night, including the SK Modified race, and putting on the best performance in a while in the Grand National Series. Bobby, are you still pinching yourself?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I just wish that me and JR could get a incident-free race, the both of us on the same night. I'm dying for that, but I haven't taken a look at the replay. I know I got around the outside of Mike, and I really didn't even want to do that at that point because I was so concerned with saving the right front. I know you guys were all broken records with that, but it's so important in these cars. And I got clear of him, and then all of a sudden it was a caution, and I looked up and saw those guys too spun around. Thankfully both of them kept their spots, but I don't know, two wins in the Grand National Series, 4 out of 5 wins for the weekend on within Bootleg, both GSRC broadcasted races, and my first SK modified win in the league. I think it was a pretty successful weekend. I'm beyond pleased.
It seemed like, based on what we've seen tonight, especially with the modifieds as well as with the Grand National Series, this track seemed to mesh towards your driving style. How do you feel overall about this facility?
It's laps. Like I said previously, I know you guys know me as the dirt ringer within the league, but I've been on the sim for over 10 years, and I mainly ran with tour modified teams between my first team, Frankenstein, Untamed Motorsports, and then we've also, myself and a few teammates have evolved, and the teams have kept evolving until we've gotten to here, which is Jim Beaver Esports. So I couldn't tell you how many laps I've had around this place, thousands and thousands and thousands. It's seat time, and this place is very weird the way you have to run it with a high arc coming in and kind of diamonding off the corner like you would usually do to set up a pass. That's your normal racing line here. So it's a different skill set than most tracks, but I do enjoy it.
Great performance overall tonight, but Thompson Speedway's up next on the calendar. No more real life for its road course race these days, but the short track still lives on iRacing. Your thoughts on that facility as we head towards the final 3 races of the campaign?
That place is my kryptonite, but I've never really been able to figure that place out for whatever reason. But I'll just try to turn some laps this week there and see what happens. It's pretty much it about that place. I don't want to badmouth the place, but it's just not one of my favorites. But it'll be a challenge. I need to get better at it, so we'll see what happens and move on from there.
Who do you want to thank for your victory tonight?
First off, I gotta thank Vision Wheel, or excuse me, I can't talk. I'm worn out after 240 laps tonight. I got to thank Vision Wheel and GSP XTV Axles for coming on board as the main sponsors on my Dirt Street Sack and the Grand National car for the remainder of the season and next season. Also got to give a big shout out to Bootleg Racing Series, the Cruise Shop, you guys at GSRC. Again, you guys put on the best broadcasts in sim racing, hands down. There's no competition. Also got to go down my sponsor list again: General Tire, Polaris Razor, Vision Wheel, Rigid Industries LED Lighting, Dirtfish, GSP XTV Axles, Gibson Performance Exhaust, Cronus, 07 Designs, Sans Racing Fabrication, and I also want to give a shout out to the Motorsports Shop and Chris Leone, real good friend of ours and awesome manager for our team. So just want to thank him as well.
Thank you very much for the time, Bobby.
Thank you guys very much, too.
Bobby Rafferty coming home in first, his second victory in this series in the Season 3 campaign. Devin Henry is standing by, though, with J.R. Shepard, who came home in second once more.
Yeah, JR, you bring it home in second once again. An extremely long green flag run to end that race. What else did you need there to try to catch up to Bobby and make that pass to win?
Stop having some contact and killing the right rear tire. I made some mistakes tonight, and there was one case where it was just a racing deal, and we came together before we entered the corner, and both times it just caused my car to come around, and once you slide the rear tire that far through the corner, it's going to hurt you. And I lost so much time to Bobby, I couldn't catch him. He was pretty equal with me, I feel, and once I hurt the car, it was over.
So when that happens and you slide that right rear out, and well, the rear tires in general, Does your mentality change, kind of how you attack the track? Does that kind of change as the race goes on, especially with that long green flag run?
Yeah, it definitely does. So once that happens, you have to take it easy for 2 or 3 laps to let the tire temperature come back down because the car gets really free, especially on entry. So just taking it easy, trying to cool the tires off, and then having to adjust the brake bias a little bit to the front to try to cool those rear tires even more. So yeah, there's several things that you can do, but every single thing you do is going to slow you down. So it's not fun.
Well, you had that incident, still bringing it home in second place tonight in that cruise shop number 98. Who do you have to thank for this performance here at New Smyrna?
Yeah, again, big shout out to the Bootleg Racing League for allowing us to do this each and every week. Without them, we don't get to, and without the cruise shop being a great title sponsor, we don't get to do this either. So just very, very thankful for everything that they do and for being with us for as long as they have. And yeah, we'll keep chugging at it. Hopefully we put on a good show for everybody.
JR Shepard, yes, still your points leader, bringing it home second. Congrats, JR.
Yep, thank you guys.
Bring back over, we're with Justin Prince. He has with Justin Morton.
Yes, indeed. And Justin, tonight, quietly moving up +4 on the grid tonight. How are you feeling about getting the podium position?
I was feeling pretty good about getting it. Would have been nice to get 2 more spots there at the end, but you know, JR and Bobby are really great drivers. Being able to save their tires and be fast at the same time.
What do you feel you would have needed to do then to try and keep up with them, especially since Shepard mentioned he burned off the right rear tire and also, mind you, made contact with one car trying to make a pass on the high side. What did you need to do?
I probably need to back up my turns a little bit more. I had the same right rear percentage as JR, but my right front was like 10% lower, so I just need to back it up a little bit and try to save better.
Next race is at Thompson. Real quick, what are your thoughts on the track?
I've always enjoyed driving it. Look forward to going there.
Anyone you want to thank for the podium?
I'd like to thank my team, Total Downforce Racing, Black Box, Pixel Dust for the awesome paint, Lowell for running the league, Cruise Shop for sponsoring us, and thank you guys for broadcasting.
Congrats on the 3rd place finish tonight.
Thank you.
Justin Morton, straight to the point. Let's go straight to the final thoughts with that. Devin, your thoughts on this evening's race?
Well, another fun one, and I guess we already have some drivers talking about their displeasure with coming up on the schedule. And this makes it harder and harder, these short tracks, how they are all just so unique. And tonight, it showed how some drivers could make that outside lane work. Every short track that this series runs at is unique, and that makes these races so much fun to watch. And a shout out to tonight's GSRC hard charger, Jeffrey Harden, with that 5th place finish. Up 8 spots from the beginning of the race. Jeffrey Harden, tonight's GSRC hard charger.
Once again, congratulations to him, absolutely, because it was difficult at times to try and keep the car clean and make moves. But real quickly, your thoughts on Thompson?
Oh, Thompson is just one of those tough tracks. It's an OG here on iRacing because, you know, you're able to race on it regardless of what you pay for. So guys get a lot of laps, and you either really love it or you really hate it. And I think we'll really see that come Saturday night.
Absolutely, very pumped up about that race. It's going to be entertaining, to say the very least. But I'd like to thank you for tuning in for tonight's race from the virtual Smyrna Speedway. I'd also like to thank Bootleg Racing League as well as the Cruise Shop, organizing and supporting this exciting series, respectively. I'd like to ask you, are you looking to take advantage of GSRC's over 1 million global monthly impressions? From official series sponsorships to commercial placements, you have advertising options customizable to suit your company's needs. I'll link in the description to the YouTube version of this broadcast for more the Global SimRacing Channel. We'd like to also take the time to thank the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed up on your screen. Special thanks go to Jude Lawn, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of our great work. Thanks to the team once again, and Devin and Sean. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can check out our merchandise for sale at gsrc.stormv1.com. Check out our social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Head over to our YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button so you don't miss a moment here on the Global SimRacing Channel. As seen on your screen, Thompson Speedway is up next on the calendar. That takes place at approximately 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Be sure to tune in on August the 22nd here on the Global SimRacing Channel for the third to last race on the campaign for the regular season. With that, we'd also like to ask you to look towards the upcoming races. Mark those down your calendar for lots of exciting races like the Lionheart IndyCar Series and more in the upcoming days. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.